This is just so unfair. The Ewis and all of these barbarians on his tower, there's just nothing he can do about this. GG's. Welcome back everybody to another video, and today we'll be climbing Chaos Ranked. Now this is one of my favorite decks to use, and it's a Rune Giant deck actually, and every single card here has very solid modifiers from blue all the way to purple, so that's why it's very flexible. So even if you don't get the modifier that you need, the other cards also has very strong modifiers. So we have the Barpa, which everyone knows is like amazing, and of course everyone runs the Ewiz in this, and the Rune Giant is very underrated. It itself doesn't do too much damage, but the buffs that it gives others are like actually kind of crazy, so that's what we have here. So in the first opponent, we are playing against Rick over here, and he has the Stun Knight as his modifier, and he's just putting a lot of stuff at the bridge right now. So we're going to choose the Ewiz. Any chain attack is always solid to have. There's a better one to pick out. On the orange one, you can always save the purple Ewiz, because the purple Ewiz is just completely game winning. So over here, I'm just gonna use my log and use the Ewiz to help clean everything up, because there's so many other ways for me to win, so I don't have to rely on getting the purple Ewiz, even though that would be nice. So over here, yeah, clean up everything, and the Ewiz will continue to get value. And put down a Furnace in the back. The Furnace is also good for its defensive purposes. I really like the Furnace that spawns every single spirit, because not only is it distraction, but it also creates a lot of stun and extra chip damage on the enemy. So use my Rune Giant here. Yeah, Rune Giant just very underrated, I feel. And now we have the Barbarian Hub that spawns E-Barbs. And this is pretty much also kind of GG's, because I just had to put it on the other side, and it just gets so much value. Because you can get rid of one set of E-Barbs, but then it's going to spawn out like 3 more sets. So for a 1/6 elixir card, I'm basically spawning out like 24 elixirs worth. So it's going to be very hard for him to deal with. Like you can see, one E-Bar is already on the tower, and he still has to deal with them on the left. And now I just have to go on the right, and he's not going to have elixir to deal with both sides. So the Rune Giant's on the tower, the Furnace is there too. And look at all those E-Barbs on the left side, took his whole tower. And yeah, just completely get rid of any ground threats that they put down. The Demolisher, the Musketeers, all that is dying, and now his right side is also dying. So that's his right side tower as well. He uses Divines, but that's not going to do too much. There's 5 E-Barbs. He can only find 3. Put down the Rune Giant over here. Look at all those E-Barbs on his tower. Wow. So amazing first game, and let's get right into the next one. Alright, so in the next game over here, we're going to start off with the Rune Giant buff with the 2 Berserkers, so automatically it spawns with some backup. It's not the greatest one, but I feel like it adds like a decent bit of value, you know? So definitely still nice to have that over here. And might as well just push over here to see what he has. So we have buff the Berserkies, and he Fire Boss, which is really good play against that. But I'm going to Vines here so the Berserkers can still get some extra chip. Yeah, it's basically got rid of the whole Knight, which is good. Now he puts down the Giant. So probably, yeah, just going to have to use the Barpa. It's going to be a little bit difficult because his Musketeer has the extra range and just basically makes like an Expo, so it's going to be very hard for it to kill, but that's okay, because we just have to treat it like it does damage to our tower, and then we'll get to it later. So right now we have the Elite Barput, which is good for us, because when this thing block on our tower, we just can't do much about it. We just have to get to it later, but I feel like it's okay because there's increased tower health, so I can always take a couple damage as long as I can take his tower entirely later. So we took a lot of damage, but I feel like that's okay, because we're going to beat him with one big push later. So this is the Giant again, and now I'm back to my Barpa, and this one spawns the E-Barbs. So the E-Barbs will help clean up the Giant pretty nicely. Okay, he has a Stun Knight, but that only works against single target. We have so many E-Bars on him, it doesn't even matter. So you use the Rune Giant, and look at all of those things. Okay, now that we got Electro Wizard, he's basically like cooked. Like this thing, whoever gets it first just wins, okay? Like nothing can really beat this thing. It beats even like the Golem. Okay, so it seems like he has the Tornado Fireball combo. So I'm gonna have to watch out a little bit where I put my things. It just means I have to put things out of range. But other than that, I mean, still gonna get a whole lot of value. Like the Elite Barbarians are still gonna do work. And now I just have to rebuild up my push. Okay. So yeah, just cycling things through. Looking back at this, I feel like I should not have put the E-Barbs in the same lane. But that's okay because we have literally the cheat code. Like, look at the E-Wiz. It just completely destroys everything. Like, he literally cannot do anything. And now, like, he's just too far behind. Like, it doesn't even matter if he uses the Fireball because I have 2 E-Barb spawners. And I'm back to another E-Wiz. I'm going to put the E-Wiz on the right side, especially after he used this Fireball. So now it's just whatever. And he's just completely cooked. Like, just can't get rid of this. Look at that E-Wiz. Like, even after it gets logged, he still does all of that. So, yeah, he's still trying, but he's just not cycling back to his Fireball quick enough. So this will be another game. And E-Wiz carried this one. Alright, so let's move on into the next game. Alright, so in the next game over here, yeah, we're probably going to pick the Boomerang Log. Just because I feel like that's a pretty safe modifier to pick. And it saves the better orange and purple modifiers for the future. So he starts with a Golem over here, and now we're just going to use the Rune Giant and the Dark Goblin. It's going to do a lot of damage, okay? And just look at how the Golem gets shredded over here. Like, the Rune Giant just adds in so much extra damage, especially with the Dark Goblin. So that's the entire Golem gone. And now the Dark Goblin's still popping off. Like, look how I got rid of the Furnace. And he misses Fireball, which is good for us. I'm going to use our Barb Hut to chill over here. And let's see what he is going to play. So it seems like he has the Mega Knight modifier, which does 100% jump damage. So that's going to be good night for all my Barbarians. And now we're going to use the Furnace one because I really like this one that spawns all the Spirits. It's just extra things for the Mega Knights to distract the Mega Knight and just extra damage to do. So yeah, it's kind of annoying how he just gets rid of all my Barbarians just like that. Okay, so now that the Rune Giant's here, I use the Dark Goblin to help dish out damage. And now that the Furnace just dies so quickly to the buffed Dark Goblin. And now we have a push going, but he probably has a spell to deal with it. Yeah, the Fireball cleans up. But, I mean, that was a good push. And now we're back to another Barbarian hut. But don't really want to play it just in case we get a modifier because it's coming out soon. So I'm getting cycled my Furnace over here instead. And now we're just going to wait until... Yeah, so let's use the Rune Giant, which buffs everything. I think this is pretty cool because now everything has the buff. So every single card I play, it's gonna, like over time, it's gonna get more and more damage, which is really good for defense. So put down my E-Wiz over here, and I'm also gonna cycle my Dark Goblin, especially now that he used up his log. So he does have the Wall Breaker Tombstone. I don't even know why he put it up that far in the front. You can always put it in the back. It's not like the Wall Breakers are gonna go anywhere, you know. So he uses his Fireball, which is good. Bait that out. And now we're going to use the Rune Giant again. So whenever they use Fireball and stuff like that, all I do is just split up my pushes. So just look at everything on the left side right now. It's kind of crazy. And I feel like the best part is just the Heal Spirit. The Heal Spirit just heals so much. Like, it doesn't even matter if they use a Mega Knight on it, because it just heals back to full HP, which I think is really, really funny. Watching, like, the Goblin Demolisher move at full HP in its running state. Okay, so both Rune Giant are popping off. One of them's on the tower. And now we are going to use the Goblin Demolisher, the one that drops bombs. You know, the Giant Skeleton bombs. Not broken at all. Okay. Yeah. That Mega Knight just jumping and just busting up everything. It's kind of crazy. Because it does quadruple its normal damage since it's doubling the jump damage. Okay, so he has the minor P.E.K.K.A. It's always going to get in my tower, and it did do a lot of damage. But my problem with that is you spent 7 elixir to do all that. So now you're going to have much less elixir to give the counter push. So look at the double furnace on the left. And I feel like he made a really bad play here. He spent another 7 elixir to get on top of my tower. So now look at all that I'm going to do. Yeah, look at the giant Skelly Bomb. That gets the entire tower. And look at the left side. The left side is also... Like, dude, I have no idea how many units are there. Alright, but anyways, moving on to the next game over here. Okay, we finally got the Rune Giant, the blue modifier. I think this is like one of the best Because for a blue modifier, it's like 200% increased damage. Because it went from every 2 hits instead of every 3 hits, which is a super big jump and also does even extra damage. So I feel like this is one of the best things you can get. Like, I'm just gonna put that Dark Goblin up here and just watch it shred like everything. Like, the Knights is just gone, and now like the Baby Dragon is just gone. Like, in the time that took him to lock, I got rid of the whole Baby Dragon. Now that's kind of busted if you ask me. And now the Goblin Demolisher also gets on the tower. He uses a Witch. Okay, so let's use the log here since I feel pretty confident and we can probably get the purple E-Wiz later. And I'm going to use my Furnace and Rune Giant everything up. And of course, we're going to try to put down a Dark Goblin or a Goblin Demolisher here. Goblin Demolisher because he has a lot of things. Okay, he has a Rage buff, that's okay. The Rune Giant also acts as a really nice tank. That's good for us. Yeah. The second hit is what gets them. Like, that Goblin Demolisher just got rid of the Witch in 2 hits. But now he has one of the better Witch modifiers, which gets it to spawn guards. So that's going to be a little bit troublesome. But that's why we get the Furnace. The Furnace can help deal with these kind of threats. Okay, the next modifier, yeah, definitely spawning the E-Barbs. That's amazing. And he's the Knight over here, but now we're going to set up the log and the Goblin Demolisher to help clear everything up, and put down the Dark Goblin, and this should help clean everything. Nice. And we're gonna put down the Rune Giant to buff everything, and now we have a push going on. So he's not a Witch, but I'm just gonna Vines this guy, and yeah, look at that, we almost got rid of the whole Knight. If only, you know, it didn't stun my ding. So we use the Bar Put to help deal with this. He uses the Expo, which is okay. I'll let it lock onto my tower a little bit because I can always just reset out the E-Wiz later. So the E-Wiz is over here and we reset it to Expo. That's good for us. Use the Rune Giant to help defend, and then Goblin Demolisher, and now he is basically lost because after you have 1 cycle of E-Barbs, it's very difficult to deal with the 2nd cycle of E-Barbs and eventually the 3rd because the other 2 E-Barb huts are still alive and you can't get rid of them. And yeah, chain attack E-Wiz, yep, this definitely seals the deal over here. So just gonna use this over here, and that's his entire field gone. Yeah, he spawned down the Witch just immediately died, and he has so much E-Barbs on his tower, yeah, it doesn't even matter no more. So yeah, just like, what can you do against this? Like, this is just too much pressure. Like, the cards are just too high quality that I'm getting. So yeah, GG's. So some really nice games, and yeah, I hope you guys can also have a really fun time climbing ranked. And this is one of my most enjoyed decks. And if you have any suggestions as to what deck to play, feel free to leave a comment down below. But once again, thank you so much for watching. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.